Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the 1965 Roosevelt dime. Not a rare date. Not a silver coin. But a coin that is a genuine historical pivot point. And because of that, millions upon millions of them were made. So let's answer the big question first: what is the circulate value, the spendable value, of a 1965 Roosevelt dime? The short answer is 10 cents. It is legal tender. You can spend it right now. But let's talk about the actual market value for a typical 1965 dime you find in circulation. For a worn 1965 dime, one that's been in pockets and purses for almost 60 years, the value is exactly its face value, 10 cents. For a dime in nicer condition, what we call uncirculated, one that was saved from ever being used, you might be able to sell it to a collector for about $1 to maybe $2. That's it. The reason for that is the sheer number made. Over 1.6 billion dimes were stamped in 1965. That's billion with a B. So they are not scarce. But the why behind that enormous number is the real story. To understand 1965 you have to go back a few years. From 1946 to 1964 the Roosevelt dime was made of 90% silver. That silver had real intrinsic value. But in the early 1960s the price of silver started to rise. It was getting to the point where the silver in a dime was worth more than 10 cents. People began to hoard them, to melt them down. The coinage system was facing a crisis. So the United States Mint made a monumental decision. Starting in 1965 they would remove almost all silver from the dime, and the quarter. The new coins would be made of a layered metal, a core of pure copper with outer layers of a copper-nickel alloy. It looked sort of silverish but it contained no precious metal. This 1965 dime right here, is a clad coin. The last silver dimes for circulation were dated 1964. You can see the proof on the edge. See that thin brown line in the middle? That's the copper core. It's like a coin sandwich. This was a cost-saving measure but also a necessary one to keep coins in circulation and stop the hoarding. Now here's a key point. The mint was so worried about a coin shortage that in 1965 they didn't put mint marks on any coins. No D for Denver or S for San Francisco. All dimes from 1965 were made at the Philadelphia Mint but they have no mint mark. They also continued to strike 1964 dated coins well into 1965 to use up old silver planchets. So the changeover was messy. So when you look at this common dime you're looking at a transition object. It's the first year of the new era. The end of silver in our everyday change. Because so many people knew the change was happening, the mint produced those 1.6 billion examples to make sure everyone had enough. That's why finding one is so easy today. Are there any errors or varieties for the 1965 dime that are valuable? Yes, but they are exceptionally rare. There are stories of a few 1965 dimes struck on the old silver planchets meant for 1964. These are worth thousands of dollars. But finding one is like winning the lottery. For every one of those there are hundreds of millions of regular clad dimes. So check your coins by all means, but manage your expectations. So the circulate value of your 1965 Roosevelt dime is 10 cents. Its historical value, however, is much greater. It represents a fundamental shift. It's the moment America's coinage left the silver standard and became what it is today, a token of value, not a piece of the metal itself. Got a pile of dimes here, and a lot of you have been asking specifically about the 1992 Roosevelt dime. You find one in your change, you get a little curious, and then you go online and see all these crazy posts about rare dimes worth thousands of dollars. It can be confusing, so let's clear it up. Today, we're talking only about the regular, circulated 1992 dime. We're not talking about proof coins, we're not talking about errors, that's a different video, and we are definitely not talking about slabs or perfect uncirculated grades. We're talking about the coin that's been in a purse or a pocket for 30 years. What is its value right now? First, the basics. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946. The 1992 issue is part of the modern, copper-nickel-clad series. That means its core is pure copper, and it's sandwiched between outer layers of a copper-nickel alloy. So, no silver here. That's key. Now, for any coin, three things dictate its value: mintage, demand, and condition. Let's tackle these one by one for our 1992 dime. Let that sink in. Over 1 billion dimes were made for circulation in 1992 alone. The Philadelphia Mint struck about 593 million. The Denver Mint struck about 535 million. That is an enormous number. From a mintage perspective, this is an extremely common coin. Demand is low. Why? Because collectors generally aren't chasing regular circulated 1992 dimes. A complete Roosevelt dime set by date and mint mark is very easy to put together for these later years. There's no shortage. The demand comes primarily from people filling those albums, and they usually want a coin in nicer condition than a heavily circulated one. So demand for a worn 1992 dime is minimal, which brings us to the big one: condition. This is where most of the confusion happens. Value is 100% tied to wear. Let's look at a few examples from my tray here. This first one is what I call good, or heavily circulated. You can see all the major details are there. Roosevelt's profile is clear, but the hair detail above his brow and behind his head is worn smooth. The torch on the reverse has lost its lines. This coin has seen things. For a coin in this condition, its value is precisely 10 cents. Its value is its face value. It is worth spending. Now, this next one is very fine or extremely fine. Much less wear. You can see strong lines in Roosevelt's hair. The word Liberty on the headband is clear. On the reverse, the torch has distinct lines, and the bands on the olive branch are separate. This is a nice, problem-free circulated dime, but here's the truth: even in this nicer circulated condition, there is no significant premium for a 1992 P or 1992 D dime. A coin dealer might sell it for 15 or 20 cents to a collector who needs a nicer example for their folder. But if you're selling it to a dealer, they will buy it at face value, or maybe if you have a whole roll of them in this nice shape, they might give you a tiny, tiny premium. We're talking about a coin worth 10 to 20 cents. That I need to stress this. Unless your 1992 dime is in absolutely pristine, uncirculated condition with original mint luster and no marks, it is essentially a face value coin. And even then, a brilliant uncirculated 1992 dime might only be worth 50 cents to maybe $1 because so many were saved in rolls. This is a proof coin. It was sold in a proof set directly to collectors. It has a mirror-like finish. A 1992 S-proof dime was never meant for circulation. If you have one of these that is worn and circulated, it's a curiosity, but its collector value is destroyed. A proof coin in its original set is worth about $2 to $3 for the entire set. So a single proof dime alone is still not a big-ticket item. So, the final answer for a circulated 1992 Roosevelt dime from Philadelphia or Denver is simple. It is worth 10 cents, its value is its purchasing power. It is not rare. It is not a key date. It is a piece of modern American coinage that did its job for decades. Should you keep it? Absolutely, if you want to. If you're building a collection, throw it in the album. If you find one in great shape, maybe set it aside. But if you're holding it hoping it will pay for a new car, I'm sorry to say it won't. The real value in coins like this is the history in your hand. This dime has been buying gum, paying for parking meters, and getting tucked into birthday cards since George H.W. Bush was president. That's pretty cool. Just don't expect it to make you money. 1997 Roosevelt dime. This isn't about some rare proof or error coin you'll never find. This is about the regular dimes that came from the Philadelphia and Denver mints that ended up in people's hands and might still be in yours. Let's get into it. First, the basics. The Roosevelt dime has been around since 1946. After 1964, they stopped being made of 90% silver. Our 1997 dime is made of a copper core with a plating of 75% copper and 25% nickel. So on the surface, it's just a regular old modern clad coin. Now, the mints in 1997 produced a lot of dimes. We're talking hundreds of millions. The Philadelphia Mint, that's the one with no mint mark, made over 991 million dimes. Let me say that again. 991 million. The Denver Mint, with the little D mint mark, made over 979 million. With numbers that high, you're thinking, common as dirt. And for the most part, you'd be right. A worn 1997 P or 1997 D dime in your pocket is worth 10 cents. Its circulated value is face value, but here's where it changes. Circulated value doesn't just mean used. It means a coin that has entered commerce, that has wear. The key is the amount of wear. The grading scale for modern coins is where the hidden value lies. Take this 1997 dime I have here. I pulled this from a bank roll. It's what we call brilliant uncirculated, or BU. It never entered circulation. It has all its original luster, no scratches or wear from being in a pocket or a cash register. For a common date like 1997, a single BU dime isn't worth much more than face value on its own, maybe 25 to 50 cents if you sold it individually. But that's not the interesting part. The value for collectors comes in bulk and in condition. A coin dealer buying a whole roll of 50 brilliant uncirculated 1997 dimes might pay a small premium over face value because they can sell them as mint sets or to people filling coin albums. But for you and me checking our change, we're looking for something specific, condition. A 1997 dime in extremely fine condition, with light wear on the highest points of Roosevelt's hair and the torch, is still just a 10-cent coin. The real jump starts at the top grades. Let's talk numbers with no commas. Remember no commas. If you find a 1997 dime graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC as MS-65, that's Mint State 65, a gem uncirculated coin with great strikes and few marks, the value is different. A 1997 P graded MS-65 is worth about $2. A 1997 D in MS-65 is worth about the same, maybe $2, but as the grade goes up, so does the value, and surprisingly, so does the population for this common year. Wait, what? Yes. Because so many dimes were made, a huge number were saved in pristine condition by collectors and hoarders. So there are thousands and thousands of 1997 dimes graded MS-66 and even MS-67. Here's the crazy part. A 1997 P in MS-66 jumps to about $5. The 1997 D is also about $5. Now, MS-67 is where it gets serious for a coin from a year with a mintage of nearly $1 billion. A 1997 P graded MS-67 is worth around $30. A 1997 D in MS-67 is worth around $35. That's a dime turned into $35, and the absolute peak. The finest known examples. A 1997 P graded MS-68 is valued at over $200. A 1997 D in MS-68 can command over $250. So what does this mean for you looking through your change? You are not going to find an MS-68 dime in circulation. Those are found in original mint bags and rolls that were sealed and preserved for decades. The friction of a single coin machine or a cash drawer will knock a coin out of that grade, but you could absolutely find a coin in MS-63 to MS-65 range. That's a dime that maybe was in a bank wrapper its whole life, got spent once, and ended up in your hand. It will be shiny. It will have absolutely zero wear. You can see all the fine lines in Roosevelt's hair. The torch will have full details in the flames. It will look like it was made yesterday. That coin, even ungraded, if it's truly uncirculated, has a premium to a collector. Maybe not $35, but it could be worth 50 cents to $1 to someone putting together a set. The value is in its state of preservation. So here's your action plan. When you get dimes in change, quickly check the date. See a 1997. Look at it. Is it worn smooth on the hair and torch? It's a 10-cent piece. Spend it, but does it look brilliantly shiny? Does it have a sharp, clean edge? Does it seem like it's never been touched? Set it aside. You might have a coin worth $1 or $2, or in the absolute rarest cases of flawless preservation from circulation, maybe even more. The 1997 dime teaches us a great lesson in modern coin collecting. Rarity isn't just about low mintage. It's about condition rarity. Finding any coin from the 1990s in truly superb, gem uncirculated condition from circulation is a challenge. And that challenge creates value. So next time you get a dime, give it a second look. That 1997 Roosevelt dime is a perfect example of how ordinary change can hold a little extra hidden value if you know what to look for. If you enjoyed this deep dive into a common modern coin, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments below, have you ever found a super shiny modern coin in your change? What year was it? And as always, thanks for watching. Keep checking that change.